Hey, what is happening, Cowboys Nation? And welcome to a special edition on a Saturday afternoon. Or as we call it, both Cam and Mass have been traveling. And so,
Seriously.
but first and foremost, congratulations, Mass, and to the Texas Rangers. Holy crap. That's
It
wow.
oh wow. It was incredible. Incredible run. Like before the season started, I said, "Hey, they are a outside looking in playoff team. They're going to be much improved, but I don't know if we'll make it to the playoffs." We made it, and then we went on a magical run in the playoffs. The only team that even gave us any trouble was the Houston Astros. But it was just amazing. And the wildest thing was it was good and bad. I was in Texas for a while, and then the game 5 that we won it in was on the day I was flying out when I was leaving. And it was like the game started like an hour before my flight. So I was like, holy crap, if we win today, it's going to be our first World Series and I'm going to be on a plane and miss it. And I was so pissed, but I was like, you know what, whatever, hopefully we just win. I don't want to risk anything.
Right.
And my flight got delayed 3 times. So I got to watch it at the airport and watch it
Well,
and
there you
celebrate
go.
it in Texas with everybody. So
Perfect.
it was awesome. It was an incredible moment. So thank you.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm actually in Phoenix right now. And hence why it's a hotel room that I'm doing this out of. But yeah, pretty tempted to, support my Ranger friends. And I brought a Rangers shirt with me, and who knows, maybe I'll
There we
walk through
go.
Scottsdale
There we
wearing
go.
a Rangers
Love
shirt
it.
just to poke some
Love
people.
it.
But, and you know what? I know it's been a couple of days, but last Sunday, that was an amazing performance by all three parts of this football team, taking down the Rams in a solid fashion. It's it is hard to go and look and find. I went back and I watched the game again, and then I watched the all 22, and it is really hard to pick apart this performance. It was just fantastic all the way across the board.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only problems was the they got the double dip at the end of the half and at the beginning of the half, and you were like, okay, are we gonna let them back in it? And we immediately closed that door.
Right.
So that was awesome. Great showing, like you said, from all 3 phases. Special teams showed up, offense showed up. The offense looked the best they have looked all season by far, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. The play calling looked the best it's has been. I've been very critical of the play calling. Mike McCarthy, kudos to him. He called an amazing game. Dak performed amazing, and the defense once again showed up. And something that's not talked about as much as I think it should be talked about, I haven't seen it as much out there, is the job these cornerbacks did on Puka and Cooper Cup. I
Oh yeah.
believe the stats were they were 7 catches on 17 targets for like
Mm-hmm.
57 combined yards, not 57, like 57 combined yards from those 2 weapons. So, in my opinion, that bodes well because I think they're one of the better receiving core duos in the league.
Oh
That
yeah.
bodes well going into this week with another set of really good another wide receiver duo in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. And I have to point out, I mean, we could talk about every single player on this team, it
Hmm.
seems like, that was on that field, but there are two that I really want to point out. And the first one was Chuma. And
Yeah,
in the very beginning, I was like,
it was a
oh
rough start.
crap.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Please don't let this be the way this game's going to go. And 180, fantastic performance. Now we don't know if we have him or not, but
Hmm.
for the game tomorrow. But I have to say that absolutely amazing the way that he was able to turn that game around and be solid, especially when you're facing a defensive line like the Rams have.
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
and then on the other side of the ball, Bell. That was a
Bell has been
stellar.
fantastic this
I
year.
mean, holy cow. For us to be so worried about that position and having depth and what was going on there, and for him to come in and be as solid as he was,
And
and
just that. It is that, but like the fact that, hey, you're a safety. Hey, we lost our linebacker. We need you to move down and play linebacker.
Right,
And
right.
he is fantastic as he's playing, to where you're like, this is
Maybe you're a linebacker.
our linebacker of the future.
Right,
He
right.
is everything that all of us thought Jabril Cox was going to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like he's everything we thought Jabril Cox was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's played fantastic, and if he can shore up that linebacking core like he has, yeah, it just helps his defense out even more, because that was
Yeah.
a spot where we were like wondering what was going to happen. He comes in, he fills in perfectly, and it's just helped this defense out tremendously.
Yeah, because hopefully we are getting close to, and I haven't had any kind of update on where LVE is and coming back, but having him, in that, and then if we have LVE coming back, I'm feeling so much better about this.
Oh yeah.
And then we have Rasheem Evans that's coming
Yeah,
to
and
join it.
then
So
you have Damone Clark, so you can have a nice rotation at the linebacker position where you
right,
don't have LVE playing 100% snaps of every game. And
exactly.
we know his body, we know his injury history. You can't do that to a guy who's injury prone like that. So it will be good when he gets back. We'll have a good rotation of linebacker play. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. And then we had something rather interesting that the first time I saw it on special teams, I was like, wait a minute, wait, when did we start doing that? Sam as a gunner.
Yeah.
And it worked. And it worked.
It worked well.
I
They
mean,
couldn't block him.
good job, Bones. Good job, Bones. I'm not sure what mastermind or who was like, hey, well, let's try him there, but do more of it.
Honestly, and if it wasn't like an injury risk, like a huge injury risk, I would even be like, man, throw Micah Parsons out there as a gunner. Who's blocking that guy?
Right.
Which wide receiver is blocking Micah Parsons? But
Yeah.
like, I get it. That's an injury risk I'm not willing to make with Micah Parsons. But Sam Williams, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it worked because those wide receivers could not block him, and he has the speed to get down there. So fantastic adjustment by Bones Fossil, who has, in my opinion, been one of the best special team coaches in the league for a long time, and has been absolutely fantastic since coming to Dallas. So another fantastic adjustment by Fossils. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it blocked a block punt, it with him on there on the special teams too. It was fantastic. So,
and look, I just want to say this, because I know you hear it all the time with Dallas Cowboys. It's just something that people are going to do. They discredit the wins. As soon as the Cowboys win, oh, it's a discredit. Oh, look at that team. They're not that good. The Rams, oh, they're 3-5 now. They're not that good. But if you look at the Rams and how they played, yes, they're 3-5 now. 100%. No. And you can use the old Bill Parcells sayings, you are what your record is. I get it. But the Rams have played everybody tight. They played the 49ers tight. They played them very close. They played the Eagles very close, very tight, where the Eagles weren't sure. And both those teams weren't sure at the close when the time was winding down whether they were going to win that game or not. And the Rams didn't win. The Rams didn't pull it out. The Rams didn't have a chance in this game against the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. It was 33-3 at one point, and the Cowboys were cruise controlling the rest of the half.
Right.
Like, just get that straight. So whether you take that to mean anything or not, like, don't try to discredit the win of the Cowboys, because they played a damn good game against a team that's played everybody close.
Yeah. I mean, that front seven there for the Rams, it's and something.
And their wide receiver core is damn good.
Right. And then, Dak to CD, you could do no wrong. No wrong in that.
Absolutely. They could not guard him at all. And you know what? Brandon Cooks is really, really coming into play. He's starting to get comfortable in the offense. Him and Dak are building a connection. It's not monster numbers, but it's good, solid numbers, coming up with big catches on third downs, coming up with big catches on fourth downs, touchdown catches past 2 games. Like that there's a connection building there, definitely.
Right. And there was a lot of motion. There was a ton of motion that
ton
happened.
of motion,
Funny how
and
that works, and
hopefully that continues to
yeah, and
happen.
we'll get to that because I think that's a vital part of this game
Mhm.
coming up tomorrow. But
Yes.
yeah, and I do have to point out the use of Turpin was good. I mean, on the offense,
Yep.
that the way that they have worked him in different things, I think that
I
that's really
I'm
come
just
along well.
I'm just gonna ask it. I was gonna ask it a little bit later, but you brought it up, so I'm gonna ask it now. Is it time to start using Tolbert and Turpin in that wide receiver 3 role a little bit more than Gallup?
Yeah, Gallup's not getting any separation. None.
None.
None
And when
at all.
and the worst part is Gallup has always been somebody who struggled with separation. There's been
Right.
times where he can get some separations, but he's not always separating. But the one thing that made Gallup amazing, like really good, and what he was amazing at was contested catches.
Mm-hmm.
He always made the contested catches. You throw it up and Gallup is going to go up and get it, or Gallup is going to fight through it and he's going to make it. It was the wide open ones that he seemed to always drop and tip to other teams. But the contested catches, he seemed to make those. This year, I think I saw a stat, he's like 1 for 20 on contested
Yeah.
catches.
Yeah.
He's not doing it at all.
Mm-mm.
He's not fighting through that contact. He's not fighting through the contested catch, and he's not making the catch. So his one thing that made him stand out and be really good, he's not doing this year, and it's showing badly.
Right.
So I
Right.
think it's time Tolbert a little bit more and
Mm-hmm.
Turpin a little bit more. Turpin is
Yeah.
shown to be a reliable receiver. He can get open
Right.
and he'll catch the ball.
I think he heard us that one game, and I can't remember which game it was, when we were like, man, is Turpin making an entire career off of those, the return kickoffs or punts in
Yep.
preseason the year before, and we haven't seen anything. And like literally within seconds, boom, he caught something, and he's been a solid go-to. Now, there's a player that I think that you were very happy with what went on with him on the field, and that would be your Ferg.
Oh, yes.
That was
Got
a
it.
great performance. Solid.
Yes. Very
It
solid, good blocking, catching
yes.
the ball really good. That perfect throw from Dak right over the safety and the linebacker. Ferguson goes up and catches it in one hand, just beautiful catch to a touchdown. He made some really good catches, some really good runs. That catch where he caught the ball like off the turf was
Yeah.
fantastic, and still got more yards. Like, it wasn't just a catch and, hey, I caught it on the ground and it was low and I fell down. No, he caught it and turned up the field. So I think 100%, I've been saying for a little while, we have to get Ferguson more involved, especially in the red zone. You see what he can do. Here's something crazy. Remember how in the beginning of the season, everybody's worried about our tight end drops, and there was an issue. Ferguson had
Yeah.
like 4 in one game, and the other tight ends were dropping the ball. Since week 2, so week 3 through now, Ferguson not only hasn't dropped a pass, there has not been a single incompletion when Dak targeted Ferguson.
Nice.
It's not even just like he didn't catch it because it was a little bit off. No, there hasn't been an incompletion. I think it was like 18 for 18 in catches per target.
Right.
So Ferg has been fantastic, and we need to start making sure we get him more involved. And I think this was a good start last Sunday against the Rams. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think he was a little bothered that National Tight End Day was on our bye week. So he was like, wait a minute. We'll make up a little bit on this one.
But I didn't get my bold prediction. What I said, I think I said two touchdowns to Ferg. He got the one. It was the first one, so I thought, oh man, it's going to happen. But it didn't get the second one. But it was a good start.
Yeah, and Deron Bland came through with one of my interceptions that I needed, but it didn't happen with the safety. Well, it came close with the safeties.
Came very close.
Getting one, and that might have been a little wishful thinking with the linebackers, but hey, whatever. It still all turned out well. So, but now let's talk the lack of anything happening at that trade deadline. And we shouldn't be surprised, but
we really shouldn't. And I think the most it's one thing to it's not have anything happen. That's one thing. I think the most discouraging part about it is the comments made by the team leadership and how like I kind of had a feeling after the Rams game and the way they won, they were going to be like, "Oh, nope, our team's good enough. We like it." Like that to me, that game should have been like, "All right, we're there. We're almost there. Let's go get something to
Right.
finish. Let's go get that final piece." Their thinking was, "Oh, this proves that we're there. We don't need to do anything." And their
Mhm.
comments of like, "Hey, we're not really looking. We love our guy. We like our guys." Jerry
If
Jones
somebody
coming out.
calls us,
Yeah,
then
Jerry
we'll
Jones
talk.
coming
But
out and saying, "Oh, we had our trade deadline before the year started." What? Why would you think your trade deadline is before the year started? How does that even make sense? Like, I get it. Like, some people are coming out defending him, saying, "Look, we made moves. We went out and got Gilmore. We went out and get Cooks." Yeah, great moves. That's a great start.
right, do more.
And then when you're playing and you got smacked up by the 49ers and you're seeing these other teams and you're seeing they're really good and you're saying, "Hey, we're on the cusp. Like, let's put a little bit more in to overflow that cup."
Right.
They just go, "No, we're okay.
And to
No, we're okay."
see, and I'm not saying that we needed Montez Sweat or Chase Young. We didn't. They wouldn't have been bad to have
No.
for especially what was given up really for them.
Except I would
But
not have given Sweat that contract he just got.
oh gosh, no. But the Bears had money to burn.
Yeah,
They
they
really
did.
did. So good for them. Whatever. Um, but frustrating to see these players, some key players, with the teams that were having fire sales, to
Yeah,
ship them off, and we didn't even pick up a phone. We weren't in the mix for any of it.
yeah.
So it's and there are people on this 53 roster that you could get rid of to have made room for a handful of those players that were
Absolutely.
being traded. So
Absolutely. So I get it. It's a little frustrating. But we got the team. Our team is set now for the rest of the year, and this is what we got to do, and this is what we got to play with. Um, Moving forward, I think we have a really good roster. I think we have a good team. I wish we would have made the trade. One thing, something, do something to
right,
get a little bit better, to push it over the top, get some offensive line help, get some defensive line. Linebacker was a big one. You know,
yeah,
so just do something. I wouldn't mind, going after a third wide receiver because, like we said, Gallup is not performing the way I would like him to perform, especially to his contract.
hmm,
So, there were some things we didn't get it done. I think it's time just to move on and just see what we got with this team and how far we can go.
yeah. I agree. I agree. And yeah, and not all the trades were fantastic.
Mm-mm.
I know that was a big move with Seattle getting Leonard and all of that, but he very well might have been a rental with the way
Yeah.
his contract sits and what they've done. So, but it's you know, it's hard. And I think on the other point is that they are looking at their draft picks or lack of
Mm-hmm.
draft picks because
Yeah.
of who, we've given away some for players that are on this team currently. And we know how much they like to draft. And
Mm-hmm.
even with the compensation of that we're probably getting for the 2 picks this coming year for Conor McGregor and for
McGovern, not
No,
McGregor.
McGovern. No, hi.
Did we trade McGregor?
Yeah, we traded McGregor. Come on now. Yeah. And Dalton Schultz. No, I was like, wait a minute. It's this Arizona Sun. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they do have 2 comp picks coming in for that. But at the same time, we look at our free agency and what we are facing not only this year but the next year in free
Mm-hmm.
agency. And it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to not think that we should be going for it now.
No, I agree. I'm of the mentality you should always go for it. Like, go all in.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point in playing for the future is if when you get to that future point, you're not there and you go, oh, we'll just play for the future again. Like you're always going to be playing for the future. So like that's what's frustrating me. I would rather take a Super Bowl now and 10 years of misery than
Hmm.
10 years of misery. Like like with the hope that the future will come true. So that's
Absolutely.
me. But we'll have to see. Let's go ahead and start to shift towards this game. And I want to start with the injury report.
Hmm.
I don't think they have released I haven't seen the injury report released for today. I saw it for yesterday.
They
Um,
have 4 players out right now. They say that are out.
oh, they have released it today?
No, this was from yesterday, but when it said for the game, they had 4 of them that were out. And that's Calcaterra, the tight end. Cam Jurgens is still out. I think they just
Oh, okay.
activated his 21-day from
Okay.
IR. Robbie, is it Robbie, the corner, and then Boston Scott are
Okay.
out for sure.
Okay. I was
On
thinking
this
Dallas.
one.
So when you were like 4 players are out, I was like,
Oh
wait a
no!
second.
Oh no!
So like
No! Oh no! I was talking about Eagles. I'm
okay,
sorry.
got it.
Yeah. No,
Boston
we have
Scott being out is an
2.
interesting one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we have our 2, which is Tyron Smith and Chuma.
They're both
They have
questionable.
not, they're questionable and
Yes.
there hasn't been a ruling on either of those. So,
Okay. And I know
um,
that Tyron Smith did practice yesterday on Friday. He
mhm.
did practice and he was limited. And from if you hear him talk, he says he's good to go. He says he's good. And the way he sounded it sounded like last week was kind of precautionary to get him ready for Philly. Now, if he doesn't go, that raises more questions. But the way he sounded is he was good to go, and we should expect him to go. Chuma, I'm not sure. Chuma's injury looked way worse than it actually turned out to be. So that's really good.
Right.
I thought we
Yeah.
might have lost him for season the way
Yeah.
he had to be carted off.
I thought it was a high ankle or worse.
Yeah.
So,
So it's good that we have him as a backup as still. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't this week. But hopefully Tyron Smith goes. I'm not looking forward to Richards making his first start against this Eagles
no,
front. Like
no,
not at all. Nothing
not at
against
all.
Richards. I think Richards has talent. I think he has potential, but I don't want his first start against this Philly front in
Exactly.
any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. Yeah.
No,
So hopefully Tyron or Chuma can go, or both. That would be the best.
that'd be ideal. Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia. They've been making a huge deal out of it. It is a pretty big game, not just because like, oh, it's an NFC East game. You know, all games matter. NFC division games matter. Conference games matter. But it is a big deal just because for the NFC East standings, like this is huge. The Eagles have a very tough road coming up. The Cowboys have a very easy road coming up. So if Philly takes the win, they jump up by 2.5 game. It kind of gives them a good cushion for this road
Mhm.
coming up. If Dallas wins, it puts a lot of pressure on Philly because they have that tough road and Dallas is right there and they have an easier road for the next 4 or 5 games. So the game has significant importance, not so much that it's just Philly Dallas, but more so of the standings. Let's go our defense, their offense first. What are some matchups and some things that jumped out to you?
Well, one thing that I'm absolutely going to be paying attention to right away is Jalen Hurts' knee,
Mm-hmm.
because he was limping at the end of that Washington game.
Badly.
And they have said that he received treatment. It is not on the injury report, which I'm wondering. I mean, I understand he still was able to practice and everything, but I thought an injury that happened in the game had to be reported. And we haven't seen anything with that. And then when he was, and people are saying it because he was tired of being asked about his knee, but this last time, one of their reporters asked about his knee and he just shook his head and got up and walked out without even addressing it. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that because I think another key to stopping this offense absolutely is getting the pressure on Jalen and
100%.
getting him out of there, getting him out of the pocket. And um, they're great that they do have a run game and they do have a passing game in that. And I think one of the best ways that we're going to be able to handle that is take away the middle, with our safeties, with Bell and all of that, take away that middle of the field, make them make those other plays, but get Jalen out of the pocket and have to change things up in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is really, and this is most games, but even more so in this game, in my opinion, it's who wins the trenches. And especially with the Eagles' offensive line, which is one of the better offensive lines in the league, against Dallas's defensive line, which is one of the better defensive lines in the league. Can Dallas get the pressure on Jalen Hurts? Because when Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts is pressured this year, he's been very bad. He has like an 80 quarterback rating. He has 5 of his interceptions have come against pressure. And Dallas is the second best pressure rate in the second fastest pressure. They have the best pressure rate, second fastest, I believe, to get pressure. It's like 2.9 seconds or something like that. They get pressure on the quarterback. If Jalen Hurts is having knee trouble and can't be as mobile, that's going to be huge, because if he can't use his leg to get out of this pressure, Dallas defensive line can feast, cause havoc, maybe cause interceptions, which the Dallas Cowboys defense is very good at getting interceptions. Bland has been picking off people. Gilly has 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Actually, I think it's 2. So we get after the ball and we take the ball away. He has been prone to those bad plays and bad mistakes this year. So that's going to be a key in this game. The other matchup,
I think it also hurts their little tush push or brotherly shove or whatever.
And you know what?
If his knee is not good, that's not going to be a smart thing. Right.
At the end of the game, they didn't do it. And now they can say, oh, it was a trick play. We used it and it worked. It was a trick play, fake push to the end around to Swift, ran for a touchdown. Great. But you also got to wonder, they used that play at that time when Jalen Hurts was not able to do the tush push. So that's a big question. Is he able to get push on his knee to get that leverage to push through the pile like he's been doing? I don't know. We don't know. He very well could be, but it's a question because once he hurt his knee, they didn't do it, and they did the fake play. So that's something to look at. The other matchup, I am kind of, it's we don't really shadow. Our cornerbacks right now don't shadow. So it's Bland on the left, Gilly on the right. I want to say
worried. Don't they throw to the right more? Is a stat I saw is that?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. But something I'm worried about is, look, AJ Brown is just a beast. He's a physical receiver. Somehow he somehow he just finds the soft spots. Like sometimes he's open and you're just like, how in the world is this guy open? Like on a 3rd down, 3rd and 7, he's open at 8 yards. And you're like, how are you open at 8 yards? But he's very good at finding those soft spots. He's very physical at the point of a catch. He can make amazing catches like we saw last week with the one-handed catch in the end zone. A lot of the catches this year have been him being physical, and it's just not a great throw, but him just going up and winning. And so that's something we got to watch out with. I think Gilly is really good at that. Gilly is fine with that. Bland, I think, is fine with that. What I'm more worried about is Devonta Smith's crossers.
Yep, I knew it.
Devonta Smith being lined up with Gilly and crossing over the middle, because Gilly can't keep up with his speed.
No. So we are missing Dix in this game. I'm going to say it right now. This is a game that we count on Dix to be in.
Yeah, Gilly can't keep up with Devonta Smith's speed on those crossers. So that's what I'm worried about. And that's something that I'm hoping Dan Quinn has a plan for, to have a safety kind of monitor Smith coming across the middle like that. Because if Hurts has a little bit of time, Smith can pull away from Gilly going across the middle. And I'm a little bit worried about that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. That was my big thing, is that to take away the middle on that. And I don't know if it is by, getting Curse in there or Malik and having them help with that, because just exactly what you said. I don't have any problem with Gilly one-on-one, with the contested catches and being physical and going for it in that way. But we've seen that cross side to side is just it. I mean, he gets burnt toast on it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, absolutely.
He just doesn't have the speed anymore to really match up with those.
Right. I also feel like it's going to be another game for our linebackers, and having to shut down Swift. And well, and now we're not having to worry about Boston Scott in that capacity, but I think taking away as much of their run game as we can, if it is stopping Jalen Hurts on the run, if he's capable with his knee, and I would love to completely take Swift out of the game, because then I think we can control things better.
Oh yeah, like Arizona did. Arizona was able to take their run game. I'm not Arizona. Washington was able to take their run game out of the picture, and they forced Jalen Hurts to beat him. Now, Jalen Hurts, to his credit, beat them. He beat him with his arm. Now, Commanders off pass rushes terror. Their pass rushes are. I mean, their secondary is awful.
Right.
So, like, that's one thing where, like I said, Jalen Hurts was just throwing it up, and Brown was just, I'm just going to out physical you. I don't think he can do that to Dallas at all. So that's something that we're going to have to look at. But it's something, you're absolutely right. We need to slow down that run game of Philadelphia, because I think they might try to rely on it a little bit more because of Jalen Hurts' leg.
Right. I agree.
Okay, let's go over to the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Give me your thoughts on that and some matchups you're looking for.
We saw last weekend that you can throw all over on that team. All of Commanders had almost 400 yards total. And I understand that they, got themselves a new safety and everything, but Darius Slay is, I know the Eagles nation think he's just the greatest thing ever, but
he's not what he was.
No, and here's the other thing: if they play, Dak can pick apart zone so easy. Like, he is their daddy if they're going to be in zone. And so, sorry, we're good, thank you. Housekeeping. No, we're good, thanks. I forgot to put the leave me alone, do not disturb. But Dak can pick apart zone, and I don't see anyone who is a true matchup for CD, especially if we have the performance that we had from CD last weekend. I don't see anybody being able to step up with that at all.
Not at all. And it's not just Slay. Bradbury has been burnt toast this year.
Right.
Like, Bradbury's been bad this year, and because of some injuries this year, they've had to use Bradbury in multiple different spots, and they've had to use him in the slot some, and he's even worse in the slot. So I'm praying that they use him in the slot a little bit against CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb will cook him alive. CeeDee Lamb will completely dominate him. I know some Eagles writer this week put out that he wants to see if Eli Ricks can shadow CeeDee Lamb. Please do that.
I think that is a brilliant plan to put the rookie on CD.
Brilliant plan to put Eli Ricks to shadow CD, because he'll be off him after the first quarter, because I guarantee you it'll be bad. And so I like Dallas's matchup with the wide receivers against the cornerbacks. I think it is one of the biggest mismatches in this entire game. The run game, Cowboys got to get the run game going. Philly can stop the run, so Cowboys have to try to get some run game, get some push going. I think the key to this game and Dallas Cowboys offense is Dak using his legs. And we've seen it, and Dak has talked about it the last few weeks about him using his legs more. He's run for a couple first downs in the last few weeks. Last few games, because we had a bye week, but last few games, he has moved around in the pocket and got outside of the pocket a lot more than he was last year and even at the beginning of this year. And I think it is changing this offense. And with this Philadelphia Eagles pass rush against our line, who at times can play good and at other times can give up 3 sacks in 4 plays like we did against the Rams, Dak's got to move.
Mm-hmm.
And if Dak can move and get off his spot and get out of the pocket and buy a little bit more time, he will pick apart this Eagles secondary all game long. And so that is my key for this offense is Dak using his legs, moving the pocket, and just killing them, dicing them up. And I think that is how the Cowboys offense moves the ball.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. So hopefully the running game can. I'm getting a little. Our offensive line is built to run, and we haven't.
Can I ask you this? Why are we not
Yeah.
using Hunter Lipke more? Why?
That's a good question.
Why? I mean, especially this would be a game. I think that
He
it would
needs to
be
be
really
more.
beneficial.
He needs to be used more in some short yardage situations, goal line
Mhm.
situations. I don't know why. Like he's been successful when he's been in the game. I'm a big fan. Use him as a fullback more. Use him as a lead blocker more because he can
Right.
do that. He's proven to do that.
Right.
And I think that's what you're probably mentioning right now is just using him as a lead blocker a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure why, because he can dig those linebackers out and give Pollard, because Pollard, we know he only needs that little seam.
Right.
And Rico Dowdle the same way, he only needs a little seam. So you give him that, and they can have some good runs. So I think that hopefully that's something that we can look into. They will look into and they will implement because they're seeming to make some good adjustments from based on the Rams game. They made some good adjustments over the bye week. Hopefully that's something they also implement down the line. Like motion, like we mentioned, the use of motion, that's another key to this game. You want to
Mhm.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I saw a stat that we used more motion in this last game than we had all season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's another key to dealing with this Philadelphia defense is to, have double moves out there. And, that's to throw them off. I don't want it to be one of those that, oh, we knew exactly what you guys were going to do
Yeah,
type of situations. And
absolutely.
if we have the motion and we do the double moves and everything like that and keep them guessing that,
Motion at the snap. Mm-hmm.
right. So,
Because motion is one thing. But when you do motion at the snap, it's even harder because they don't know where they're going. They're not able to get a good hand on the receiver or the running back or whoever's coming out. It's hard to get a good read on those players, and they have to have really good eye discipline. And when it's motion, when you're motioning and there's moving parts going on, you're snapping the ball while people are still moving. It tests that eye discipline. So that's where you can get misdirections. That's where you can get blown coverages. And with this secondary, you're going to get some blown coverages. You're especially from Bradbury.
mhm.
Watch, do some motion of the step. You're going to have some blown coverage from Bradbury. He's done it all year. He's been beat all year long. Like that's the guy who I want them to try to isolate on CeeDee Lamb. I want the Cowboys to try to get him isolated on CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb has cooked him for years, and he's been worse this year than he has in the past couple of years. So that's where I'm looking at. Okay, so do we want to talk about special teams? I mean, we want to talk about
Sure.
our perfect field goal kicker
Right? I mean,
again.
okay. I was a huge doubter. I hated it. It was a horrible idea. It was awful.
A guy
This is
never
my
kicked
big
the
plate
field
of
goal.
crow that I am eating because mama, all you soccer moms out there, get your boys to start kicking field goals because it works, I guess.
You don't even have to kick a field goal in college. You could just go
No.
straight to the NFL.
Right.
It's
Right.
actually incredible. And then to last week, we actually saw his leg strength in a field goal. He hit
Right.
a 58-yarder, dead center, and that looked
And
good
had
from at
room.
least that looked good at least from 65, 66 in my opinion. That had
Right.
plenty of room on a 58-yarder. So I was beyond I'm beyond impressed with
Yeah.
Brandon Aubrey. And
Yeah.
you know,
To have missed his very first kick
a PAT,
and be
yes,
like, that's it. I'm
yeah.
not gonna do that
Cowboys Twitter
again.
was in
And
shambles when
oh yeah.
when he missed that first PAT. And since then, he has been perfect on PATs, and he has not missed a field goal all year. We are looking
Special
at,
teams player of the week,
yeah,
you
we're
know.
looking at a guy who has a shot. If he continues down this trajectory, yes, it's halfway through the season, continues down this trajectory, who could be a Pro Bowl kicker in his very first,
Oh,
all pro kicker in his first year.
all pro. I'm gonna say all pro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
Absolutely. I
been
agree.
fantastic. And then Turpin has been great in the return game, I
I was
think.
gonna say we got some really good returns, and unfortunately, Nation Wright,
Penalty. That
I'm
was
looking at you.
not only a bad penalty in respect to like how he did it was bad, like it was just so obvious of a hold, but like he didn't it was bad because he didn't even need to do it. It was so
Right.
far away from the play that
Exactly.
guy had no chance to catch Turpin anyways. And I
Yeah.
think that was the most frustrating thing about it is like, here he goes, he's got to finally get one in a game, and holding brought it
Yeah.
back. So, yeah, our special teams has been, dare I say, special this year.
Yes.
Like it really is. And to quote our guy Nick's, like, special teams matters. You can
Right.
see special teams matters. The punt block for a safety, that's 2 points. Got short field position. They scored short, like 3 plays later for another touchdown. So 9-point swing. Then you got 2 big returns from Turpin. Great field position. And you got a kicker who just doesn't miss. So
Right.
like that all adds up to points. All of it
Hmm.
added up to points. So special teams matters, and when you have special teams playing like the Cowboys special teams are playing, it benefits your offense and it benefits your defense tremendously. Okay, so let's get into some predictions.
Okay.
Let's go with defense. Who is your defensive star of this game, or who's your guy that's going to step up on defense for you?
Well, I I guess I don't have one particular player,
Okay.
but it's the middle of our defensive line. I need Osa. I need I need I need to see some good things out of Mazzy in this one. I need
Hankins.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Hankins, like we kind of always can count on him,
Yeah.
but no, I want to see that middle of the defensive or of the defensive line, and it's some big boys that they're up against. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them have a game, close those gaps, cake Swift out, let Micah get through for pressure. I
Mm-hmm.
just I need that. To me is going to be a game changer right there.
Okay. I like that. I'll kind of piggyback off you instead. And I'll go group 2.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the defensive ends. And I'm going to say not only just through pressure and getting to Hurts, but setting and containing the edge are going to be
Right.
key. Because not only Swift, we know Swift, when he gets bottled up, Swift is very good at pausing, reevaluating, getting out to the outside, and making the big run. Jalen Hurts, moving the pocket, running. Tank, Parsons, Fowler, Armstrong. I need these guys to set the edge and contain the pocket. Don't let Swift, don't let Hurts get outside, because that's where you're going to hurt when Devonta Smith is doing a crossing route on Gilly, and Hurts breaks containment, gets outside, then you got a big gain down the field because Gilly couldn't keep up with Smith. So
Right.
contain that pocket, let those guys like your guys like Osa and them get home in the middle while you're containing the pocket and not letting Hurts get outside and make a big play. So I think the defensive ends are going to have the big game with pressure, with sacks, containing the outside runs, containing Hurts within the pocket. So that's where I'll go. And I'll say, I was close last week. I still think Parsons should have had. I said 3 sacks. I still think he should have had 2 sacks. That strip fumble, that
Yeah.
wasn't a forward. That was not a forward pass. That was a fumble. Get out
Right.
of here with that. That should have been a sack
Yeah.
too for Parsons. But I will
Agree.
say overall, we get 4 sacks on Hurts this week and a forced fumble. He's going to have a forced fumble from those defensive ends. So that's where I'll go on that one.
I'm
Off,
going to say that Deron Bland continues on with, he is one of our touchdown leaders.
he
He
is.
and CD are tied. I'm going to say he gets another one this
There
game.
we go. Offensive star. Who's your offensive star of the game?
He was my guy last week, and I'm just going to stay with it. It's CD. He's going to eat on this one, and I don't care. And Eagle fans want to say, "Oh, he's a slot receiver." Well, guess what? I don't care. He can eat up the middle and be in the slot
He
wherever.
goes everywhere.
He
goes everywhere. Yeah.
He can do it there. He can do it on the outside. I don't care. But this is another CD Lamb game. People were right. I didn't like it when people started going, "There's something wrong with CD. Something's up." Well, there was, and he did get vocal, and he absolutely needed to. And I'm glad he proved his point.
I think
And that
I
they
think he
opened
changed
their
his
eyes.
offense.
Yeah, and they were like, "Okay, he's probably right. We need to get him the ball." Well, guess what? This game is going to happen too.
I get it, and I looked at CD. I think CD's going to have a good game. I looked at my guy Jake Ferguson again because I think he can have a big game. Their linebackers are suspect in my opinion. I'm going to go with Dak.
Yep.
I think Dak eats this defense apart, this secondary apart. I think he makes the runs where he needs to make the runs. There's so much talk about Dak and Hurts and who's better and this and that. I think Dak puts on a show on Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia, and he just picks this defense apart because based on what I'm seeing from last week, and if they continue that motion, they continue this play calling, they continue to let Dak play his game, Dak will destroy this secondary because this secondary is not as good as the Rams secondary.
Right.
So I'm going to say Dak Prescott has another big game. I'm going to say another 4 touchdown game and passing. No turnovers this week. I think Dak just plays a outstanding game. Outstanding game. Give me Dak Prescott. Okay, what is your bold prediction?
My bold prediction. It's staying with CD.
Okay.
And we're going 175 yards.
Ooh.
Big game. I'm talking big game.
Yeah.
Big game.
Okay.
You can see it in him. You see something change. You can see that. And 175 yards.
Okay. I love it. I could get down with the 175 yards. My bold prediction. Now remember, it's a bold prediction. A lot has been made of AJ Brown going for 125 at least 125 yards for 6 straight games. NFL record. Outstanding. Very difficult to do. Nobody's ever done it before. So kudos to AJ Brown for doing that. I'm going to say that AJ Brown is held under 60 yards this week.
Nice.
Under 60 yards. This Cowboys pass defense is no joke.
Right.
Under 60 yards this week for AJ Brown. That's my bold prediction. Okay. So let's go with our score predictions. Let's figure out what we got for score predictions. What do you got?
I have 31-20. Cowboys.
31-20 Cowboys. Okay. You think it's a close game and they pull away, or you think it's kind of like a set game?
I think it's close through the half,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think the Cowboys just come out and take it over.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to go with a 35-28 victory over the Cowboys over the Eagles. I'm going to say it's a very close game, very hard-fought game. I'm going to say it is tied going into the last 5 minutes of the game, and the Cowboys put together
Anxiety.
a touchdown drive to go down there and score the game-winning touchdown with like a minute left, and the Eagles can't go down and score again. But yeah, 35-28 Cowboys victory. That's what I got.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to count on all of you to somewhat keep me up to date, because I actually can't watch the game tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, Cam.
There's a reason why I'm here in Phoenix, and it is the championship race for NASCAR here, and they're basically on at the exact same time. So I'll be peeking in on my phone, but I'm gonna have to, you guys keep me updated and everything on that. That'll help.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We'll do that, and hopefully I'm wrong and it's a blowout, and you don't even have to worry about it. You could be celebrating on the track. We can like, who's that lady dancing on the track out there?
Right?
Like, what's going on?
What is going on? Yeah. But we do have one other game happening today.
We do have another game, and that's between me and Cam. We're together with the Cowboys. We are not together with college football. Her Washington Huskies are playing my USC Trojans, so I'm not as confident as Cam is today. Fire Alex Grinch. That's all I got to say.
Right. I did find it was funny because we can't bet on sports in Texas, and so I pulled up my MGM app. And because I'm in Arizona, I can bet, and I started looking through the numbers. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, because I think it's 77 on the points. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bet over on that.
Yeah.
It was like minus 150. I was like, why? I'm not gonna put any money on that.
No point. Yeah.
Literally every single prop in this game is a minus. I was like, I will not be betting on that game today. So awesome. But yeah, no. Looking forward to it. We've got some key players that have come back on defense. Michael Penix, the last couple of games, I know that people are starting to say, oh, Penix has fallen off. It's not the same as he was at the beginning of the year. And people need to understand he had a rib injury that happened right after, in the Oregon game. So he was playing with a rib injury. The next game, he had the flu last week. In fact, I guess we had like 14 players that had the flu over the last 2 weeks. So we're coming in healthy and with extra defense. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'll just say our chances, our only chance really is Caleb Williams being Superman. Like that's our chance, because
people should tune into this, because you are going to see two of the best quarterbacks in the nation play today.
In my opinion, the two best.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. So, but I will be putting out the score prediction tweet. So predict the score correctly. You got to get the score correctly and what team scores what, and you get a chance to win a free Twisted Gorilla shirt. So I'll be putting that out here today, and just make sure you retweet, tell us your score, follow me and Cam, and then we can you'll be eligible to win. But that's going to be it for the show. Is there any final parting thoughts you got, Cam?
Also that we do have the Michael Gallup autograph jersey, and get that number up there on our YouTube followers, and so we can give that to someone while he's still on the team.
Hit that subscribe, share with your friends. Absolutely.
Right. But no, once again, congratulations to the Texas Rangers and all their fans for the World Series. It was amazing. Everyone around me is Ranger fans, and I celebrated with you. I'm not, I'm not one of the faithful, but it was great to be around it and the energy and everything. So I'm
It
really
was
happy for
amazing.
everybody.
So yeah, it was amazing.
But
First of many. There we go. I'll
right,
say it.
good. Well, we'll see. No, I'm kidding. But no, everybody have an amazing rest of today. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.